So here is my Texan accent, in case you never heard it before. This is me personating my sister Deborah, and I was wondering how long I was going to be able to put this up. And it feels so silly to talk like this with my Texan accent. I should have practiced this before I went live, and now it feels really weird to go live and talk about like this for a long time. Okay, so I can't keep it up as long as I thought I was going. I was like, I should totally do a whole video wearing plaid and a Texas accent and a hat of some sort and just be really ridiculous. So that was my Texan accent. Apparently my record time is 10 seconds. So today I was thinking about what could I talk to you about? And there are so many powerful things to talk about. First, did you know that you could live on forever? Not in the means of like the fountain of youth, or not in the means of like living forever beyond 120 years old, but you could live forever as far as like your content, your story, your books, the words that you speak, that lives on forever in someone else repeating what you said, or something you share that's powerful and they think about it a lot, like it's living on in that way. And then if they share that with someone else, it lives on. So in a way, even if you were to die today, after you spoke and shared something to someone, that thing could live on and on and on as it keeps getting repeated. I was like, oh my gosh, you could live forever. And I was thinking, wow, another thing that could live forever is your book. If you write your book or you record something, like this video I'm recording for you, like if it's forever in existence, it could live on forever as long as people keep viewing it, so the idea is shared. Isn't that crazy? I just had that earth-shattering revelation today, and that was so powerful. So update on my LASIK. I'm actually going to get PRK, and I'm going to get a consult with the third consult tomorrow, and then I'll probably make a decision if I want to do PRK or EBK. Probably not do LASIK because my son is getting into mixed martial arts. And if I ever wanted to spar him and I get punched in the eye, the flap of LASIK could come loose or get dislodged or something. And so it's not recommended if you ever intend or have the possibility of getting punched in the face, or you're like in the military, or you're going to be in some high impact sport or something. Even boxing is okay as long as you wear your headgear, because the gloves can't actually go into your socket and mess up your eye. Like the doctor I was talking to at this LASIK Clear place in Plano, like he was so good and he gave me so much information. So you're looking to get LASIK, check out the one in Plano called LASIK Care. LASIK Clear or LASIK Clear. Zip code is 75093. Anyways, today I had a soul expansive, deeply enlightening, very powerful coaching session with my master life coach, Lauren Roberts. And I always declare every week when we have our calls, typically on Thursdays, that they're deeply soul expansive, very powerful, incredibly enlightening. And of course it was, of course. And I so got that the very thing I did not want to do was the very thing there was to do. Hey, Rachel and Jason, Realtor. And I so got that when you don't want to have a conversation about something because you think you already know all the answers, you think you already have an idea of what it could look like, you have no idea until you actually have the conversation and you talk about the very thing that you don't want to talk about. For instance, I am a Sherpa. I'm a life Sherpa. I am a life coach, and I help fellow souls in their climb up the mountain. And this is something I declared. This is something I agreed to, and I have no idea how it looks. I just know it's my life purpose, and I'm going to do it. And I, for a while, I just thought my husband my life partner. I just thought he's just someone I have to tolerate. He's just this body that's in the middle of my road of travel, and I have to walk over that body. I have to like deal with it because it's just there in the way, in the path. I never thought that he could ever be a powerful partner for my climb up the mountain. I'm not climbing up the mountain alone. I actually have a life partner. And I always thought, oh, it's another thing I have to drag up the mountain with me. It's another thing I have to carry. It's another piece of luggage or something. And I thought I kind of transformed it. And of course, as I transform to that level, there's another level to get to and another level to get to. So the next level to get to was to talk about my true aspirations of doing this full time and what did it look like? How is my husband going to support me or not support me, and how he felt about it. And it's funny because, you know, we have a comfortable lifestyle and we use a certain amount of money. So ideally, in any kind of situation, like when you're talking with your life partner, Everett, my life partner, he thinks that if we'd like to continue our certain lifestyle of living, then if I would like to all of a sudden work on this coaching practice and not make any money for initially, then what would it look like? And how much money would he bring in to still have us break even? And we really thought like we didn't make enough money to break even. Like we thought like our spending was out of control and stuff. But when we looked at every expense we had and we broke them out into categories, how much did we spend on food? How much do we spend on my books? How much do we spend on my business expenses, like my domains and my platforms and my Kajabi account and Zoom account, all that stuff? Then we really got to break down like what was essential, what did each item cost. Like we really dug in. How much are we spending on the kids' extracurricular activities like Austin's MMA or Ava's dance? You know, how much are we setting aside for the college fund? How much are we setting aside for their food? How much are we paying for Montessori school? Do we have options? Will my mom watch Ava instead of sending her to Montessori school? Because that would save us like $700 a month. There are so many considerations. And here's the thing. You don't just look at the stuff. You like dig into the stuff. You know, like if I ask a question for my husband, usually I don't want to like dig into it. I don't want to find out what the true thing is about. I'd rather just kind of gloss over it and make my assumptions, and then I don't have to like be with the truth. The funny part is once you see the truth, there's no need to go back to your state of ignorance. For instance, like when, you know, like my coach gave me the most funny example today. She said, if you watch a plasma TV, right, these super high definition plasma TVs, like you can see the pores on people's faces, you can see the imperfections of their skin, you can see every wrinkle, you can see each eyelash. It's a lot. And usually, and at first reaction, you're like, I don't want to see this. Like, this is too much. But honestly, you couldn't go back to your cathode ray tube TV. Like that's just backwards now. So there is no going backwards. There's only going forward. And there's no going backwards. There's just going forward. And so of course, if there's any truth to be had, hey Kyle, if there's any truth to be had, that is you only go forward. So I was having this conversation with my husband, and we were breaking out the expenses, and we were breaking out how much time he would be spending where. And I'm usually not a person to go into the nitty-gritty and stuff like that, right? But I really, really wanted to go into the nitty-gritty because that was where the gold was. That's where the answers are. With my coaching practice, when I have clients and they're giving me like just a passing statement about something, I've learned that digging into that statement, understanding truly what is about that statement, what is their mindset, is truly how I get to the gold. And that's when they truly see how their life really is. So that's how I did that with my husband today. For instance, let me give you this wonderful, perfect example, and I think it will apply to you and your life and your significant other, your spouse. And it's such like an eye-opening exercise, even for me as I was doing. I didn't realize it was where it was going to take us, and I just got so much clarity. So my husband, for instance, he thought, okay, if Tuan, his wife, is working her soul elevated coaching enterprise, and she is offering these services, and she's not making any money initially, then it was his responsibility to bring home enough money for us to for us to live comfortably in our current lifestyle. And he thought he would not have any time left over to do the things that he loved. If he was so busy working, then he wouldn't have any time to do tennis or golf or any of his loves. And so I was thinking, there's got to be a way to negotiate this. So I'm like, okay, how much time do you have? So we took 24 hours multiplied by 7, because that's how many hours you have in a week, right? And I said, okay, how much do you spend on your commute? How much do you spend on your job? How much do you spend getting dressed, getting ready? How much do you spend on eating, chores, going to Target, going to Costco? How much time do you spend shuttling the kids to their extracurricular activities? How much time do you spend with us, like date night or date afternoon or whatever? We broke it down, every single line item. And somehow we came up with Everett would sleep 7 hours a day. He would commute to work for 20 minutes a day. Plus, there's time to get dressed. Plus, there's time to eat, to do chores and laundry. Plus, there's time of trucking the kids around for their thing. Time on the weekends to take Austin to Nicorama or Chuck E. Cheese or whatever his favorite thing is. And we realized there was 12 to 20 hours unaccounted for. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need time to unwind. I need time to decompress. I need time to spend with the kids too. And I was like, yeah, I agree. So we decided, okay, how much time would you like to spend to that? Let's allocate 2 hours a day to those things, right? And we still had time left over. And here is the interesting part. So we pretty much maxed out the time, right? And I was thinking, well, if I was working my coaching practice full time, I would be at home and my schedule is flexible. I could do some work when I take the kids to the extracurricular activities. I could be the one shuttling them around. I could help to do a few chores, because my schedule is flexible. Maybe I would have my coaching sessions with my clients sometimes in the evenings, and so that frees up a few hours during the day. Or I could write my book while I'm sitting there waiting for the kids to finish up with their dance practice or their MMA practice or whatever. There were so many creative ways to think about it. And then all of a sudden, freedom has freed up time for him to do the tennis that he loves and work his job and do the chores or less chores, less time shuttling the kids around. It was a win-win. But if we didn't dig into it, if we didn't see, okay, how many hours do you have in a week? 24 times 7, right? Until we broke it down to how exactly it looked, we had no idea where this time was going and how much actually time he had. And the funny part was, we realized that the assumptions we made about not having enough time is simply not true. Isn't that crazy? Everett got to see for himself what he thought about his time, and then he got to powerfully see what actually his time could look like. And I got to see what my time could look like. I still could do everything I wanted to do for my coaching practice, my coaching enterprise, and have time to help Everett do the things he loves, like his tennis and his golf. And it was eye-opening. Another activity we tried was, he was talking about, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to work until I'm freaking 75 before I can retire. And so usually I'm like, yeah, I don't know how much money I'm going to make. That's probably going to be the case. Instead, I was like, let's break it down, because I've learned that you break it down, right? So I've asked, so we looked at how much 401k I had, how much 401k Everett had, how much we would earn in Social Security, how much would he would get in Social Security, when could he start drawing from Social Security, when can he start drawing from 401k, how much did he desire to have, if that money we have right now in the 401k, if we were to compound 5% annual interest, how much would we have by the time we turn 60? If the amount stayed exactly the same right now and compounded until it was 60 years, 20 years later, because we're at 40 this year, then how much would we have in there? Is that enough to draw from to last another 50 years? We plan to live to 100. Everett plans to live to 100. I plan to live to 120, so we better have enough money. And guess what? We could actually make do. And you know what? At the same time, he realized his fears about not having enough money might not have a lot of truth to it. all of a sudden, his energy shifted because he got some clarity about the picture that he's painting that may or may not be true until we actually dug into it and saw what there was to see. Are you getting this? This is mind-blowingly good, and it just shocked the heck out of me because it was such a simple, powerful exercise to break it down, to see what it really, really looked like, to see where we were starting from, so that we can actually have a real foundation to come from a place of feeling overwhelmed or annoyed or resentment or anger or stress. Like, if you really saw what there was to see and you really dug into it, you might find that a lot of the stuff that you're basing your feelings on are freaking assumptions. Assumptions. Yeah. So good. So good. There was something else that I was going to share with you. Oh, yes. The last concept I'd like to share with you, which is, oh my gosh, it's like a talk for tomorrow's video. The last concept is you cannot make a powerful decision unless you can say no or yes to the thing, right? Like if I feel like I am stuck in my marriage, there's no way I could say no to my marriage, then there's no way I could look at it powerfully, because it's kind of like a form of resentment. You feel like, oh, I'm stuck in this marriage. I couldn't say no to these kids. I couldn't say no to my husband. It's too late. Like, I'm already married. We already have the kids. I have responsibility, right? And so I thought, you know what? Let's pretend. Let's pretend I didn't have Everett in my life. Let's pretend I didn't have the kids in my life. Let's pretend I don't have my purpose, the Sherpa role. Let's backtrack. If it was 20 years ago, and I'm 20 years old, graduated from college, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to look for a mate. I'm not going to look for a life partner. I'm not going to get married. I'm probably not going to have kids. I'm just going to go follow my meditation teacher and help her with her meditation programs and stuff. That's going to be my life purpose. You know, I got to see how my life could have been different. And I got to see, what if I had 0 kids? I had no Everett. Like, what would my life look like? Would I still be fulfilled? Would I still be happy? And I realized, yeah, I think I'd be fulfilled and happy, just in a different way. But, you know, it wasn't until I lost my meditation practice, it wasn't until I gained all this weight from having my kids that I hit rock bottom. And hitting rock bottom helped me rise. It helped me find myself. It helped me hire a life coach. It helped me work with an astrologist. It helped me find my life purpose. Like, out of that adversity came so much strength and so much transformation. If Austin was never born, my first kid, if he was never born, Everett would have never had the catalyst to have his transformation of becoming the fittest person he's ever been in his entire life, even beyond the days when he was playing collegiate tennis, even the days when he was fresh out of high school. Like, those are, you think, would be his fittest days, but he is more fit today than he was back in his college days because our son inspired him to get in really good shape. And over a span of 6 years, as Austin grew up older and older, Everett started lifting heavier weights. He started running faster miles. Like, he did everything to transform himself. Before, he didn't have like defined pectoral muscles. He didn't have like flat abs. Like, to me, he was just the man I was going to marry that had a double chin and a belly and nice legs, because, you know, he used to run track and he played tennis, so his calves are always super nice. I'm like, he's just that kind of person. That's who I'm marrying. I never thought I would end up having a guy that became a total stud, you know, that just really worked out and became really fit and stuff. With now he's very defined and muscular. And he's like, if that never happened, like, he wouldn't have had that transformation. He may not have, or maybe he was just gonna continue about his way or something. So think about it. Think about the things that you have in your life right now that you do truly, deeply love and feel like you couldn't ever say no to. Or maybe you felt some resentment about it. Whatever you feel about it, pretend if you never had it. Pretend if you could put it down and set it down. Pretend if you were to rewind your life and see if you didn't have those things, what would it look like? And you know what? after we pretended, if we were never married, if we never had kids, if we never met each other, and we look at our life right now, we still determine that we would have chosen this life right now because we are genuinely happy. We were looking at our beautiful kids and how happy they are and how loved they are and how much we love them. And we're so grateful that we actually get to be their parents. We actually get to have these wonderful souls in our life. Like, we're actually grateful that we have each other. So funny, so powerful. And I realized it was a really good thing that I married this man. And I think he realized that too. But until we pretended like it never happened, like until we could see that we could say no to it, just like we could say yes to it, like we probably didn't see the value of it. So there you have it, my friends. This is my Texan accent to close out this video. If you didn't already know, I'm a life coach. I'm a life Sherpa, and I lead fellow souls up their mountain. The mountain that represents their journey, their journey to reaching their highest self, their higher consciousness, their divinity within them. You are a manifestation of the multiverse. You have the multiverse within you. Hey, Shay, you are a powerhouse. You are a badass. You have the multiverse within you. Yes, you do. So if you're looking for a life coach, you'd like to work with me, I have a whole bunch of new options. I have group coaching now that is as cheap as $50 a month, $48, or a single session is $24. I have a money course I'm launching on the May 4th for $44 because 4 is my favorite number. And what else? I'm collaborating with Michael Stone, who is the creator of Neurodynamic Breathwork. I'm going to be teaching a relationship course every 2 weeks on his platform. The possibilities are endless. I have a manifestations course. You can write powerful intentions every single day, and that course is $39. I mean, these are really good prices for all sorts of price points. If you'd like to work with me directly one-on-one, check out my website, Soul, S-O-U-L, Elevated Life. You can see the different plans I have, and you have an assessment form you can fill out to see if you'd like to work with me. And that's it. Many powerful, wonderful things to come. So much goodness. Looking forward to working my soul elevated life coaching business enterprise full-time. And love you lots. I send you love, light, profound clarity, infinite possibility to create the life you desire to live that is aligned with your soul's purpose, expansion, and growth. Always. Always, always, always. Here's to you living a soul elevated life. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, Shay. Bye, Kyle. Bye, Jason, Rachel, Bar Sky, and Martree Lad 007. These Instagram names, I don't know. See you tomorrow. Good night.